Cape Canaveral, Florida, SpaceX launched 4 astronauts to the International Space Station on Sunday on the first full-fledged taxi flight for NASA by a private company. The Falcon rocket thundered into the night from Kennedy Space Center with 3 Americans and 1 Japanese, the second crew to be launched by SpaceX. The Dragon capsule on top, named Resilience by its crew in light of this year's many challenges, most notably COVID-19, was due to reach the space station late Monday and remain there until spring. Sidelined by the virus himself, SpaceX founder and Chief Executive Elon Musk was forced to monitor the action from afar. He tweeted that he, most likely, had a moderate case of COVID-19. NASA policy at Kennedy Space Center requires anyone testing positive for coronavirus to quarantine and remain isolated. Sunday's launch follows by just a few months SpaceX's 2-pilot test flight. It kicks off what NASA hopes will be a long series of crew rotations between the U.S. and the space station, after years of delay. More people means more science research at the orbiting lab, according to officials. This is another historic moment, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said Friday. But he noted, "Make no mistake, vigilance is always required on every flight." The flight to the space station, 27.5 hours door-to-door, should be entirely automated, although the crew can take control if needed. With COVID-19 still surging, NASA continued the safety precautions put in place for SpaceX's crew launch in May. The astronauts went into quarantine with their families in October. All launch personnel wore masks, and the number of guests at Kennedy was limited. Even the 2 astronauts on the first SpaceX crew flight stayed behind at Johnson Space Center in Houston. Vice President Mike Pence, chairman of the National Space Council, traveled from Washington to watch the launch. Outside the Space Center gates, officials anticipated hundreds of thousands of spectators to jam nearby beaches and towns. NASA worried a weekend liftoff, coupled with a dramatic nighttime launch, could lead to a superspreader event. They urged the crowds to wear masks and maintain safe distances. Similar pleas for SpaceX's first crew launch on May 30 went unheeded. The 3 men, 1 woman crew led by Commander Mike Hopkins, an Air Force colonel, named their capsule Resilience in a nod not only to the pandemic, but also racial injustice and contentious politics. It's about as diverse as space crews come, including physicist Shannon Walker, Navy Cmdr. Victor Glover, the first black astronaut on a long-term space station mission, and Japan's Soichi Noguchi, who became the first person in almost 40 years to launch on 3 types of spacecraft. They rode out to the launch pad in Teslas, another Musk company, after exchanging high-fives and hand embraces with their children and spouses, who huddled at the open car windows.